Hello! I am currently walking through Crinan Park in Key Biscayne, and I'm on my way to Bear Cut Nature Preserve because I'm going to do a pretty in-depth reconnaissance of the mangroves and the other coastal ecosystems there, looking for trash. This is an area that I've cleaned up many different times. I've removed 24,000 pounds in total from this and other areas. So today I'm just gonna go check on some spots that I know have been very trashy in the past for future cleanups. And as I'm sure you can tell, it is raining pretty hard. You might be wondering to yourself, why would I be out in this kind of weather? And the fact of the matter is that the rain is actually very helpful for me because it's the middle of summer. It's currently 1:45 p.m. and it's keeping me cool. Also, it's kind of tamping down the mosquitoes and gnats, so that is a godsend. I'm going to show you some of my favorite ecosystems, some of my, the most beautiful places on the planet, and I'm glad you're coming along. Here we have 3 turtle nests in a row, and in April and May, leatherback and green turtles come up from the ocean at night and lay their eggs here in their nests. In about a month or so, you'll see all the little babies coming out of their shells and going right back into the ocean. And actually there's one more turtle nest up here, so this is a really important habitat for some very endangered marine animals. Gonna bid the beach adieu for now and head into the hardwood hammock. I just got to the Fossilized reef overlook, which is right here. And this is a really special place because just underneath it, right here, is the fossilized reef. You see that rock there? It's not actually bedrock. This used to be a series of mangrove roots that 11,000 years ago were covered over, they were silted over, and they fossilized. And this is one of exactly 2 spots in the entire world where you can find this kind of natural phenomenon. It's also a bit disconcerting to see how far the shoreline has receded because of storms and sea level rise. So the shore at high tide used to be right here, and now it's back there, so pretty sad. Now this little inlet here separates the mangrove forest from the rest of the preserve. So gonna cross it. We are now well and truly into the mangrove forest. So this is a red mangrove forest. You can tell red mangroves because they have these big sweeping roots that hold the sand, the shoreline together, and they're critical for protecting infrastructure against hurricanes and storms that will sweep away the shoreline. But yeah, love this place. Like I said, one of my favorite places on the planet. I cleaned it up many times, but as you can see here, there's always more trash that comes in from the ocean. I've come to my first tidal inlet. This goes way deep into the mangroves, and I'm actually going to follow it. I'm currently in about knee-deep water. It's going to get deeper. I'm going to follow this right into the very heart of the mangrove forest. I've left the inlet and tried to make my way. There's no real shore because it's all extremely wet, but to quote-unquote drier ground, but I'm very much stuck in quick mud. So like whenever I try to pull one leg out, one leg sinks in even more. So I need to get myself out of here. And I'm gonna actually go back to the inlet where counterintuitively the ground is a bit firmer. As you can see, it doesn't matter how deep in the mangroves you go, there's always more trash everywhere. Some over here, just like literally everywhere. Over here. Well, we got a toilet seat. Looks like somebody was, or maybe even is, trying to build some sort of structure out here, because there's a whole lot of 2x4s and 4x4s, and they did not get here by accident. There's some more 2x4s right across this canal. And I know I'm getting to sound like a broken record, but there's even more construction material out here. Looks like somebody was trying to build a platform, which is highly illegal because this is a protected natural preserve, but people come out here and do all sorts of stuff that they shouldn't. And things keep getting creepier. This is an old campground with solar batteries and everything. Yeah, somebody's been out here doing stuff they're not supposed to do. What on earth? You know what, I'm not gonna touch it. Who knows if it'll freaking electrocute me. But I'll probably be back for it later. The hits keep coming. There's a cooler full of electrical equipment, or gardening equipment. This looks like a chainsaw. That makes sense. That makes total sense, given the 2x4s we saw earlier. And what's this here? Just more trash. Great. And now we have a lean-to with a bunch of rods, a tackle box. I have no idea why you would build this out here, because it is completely waterlogged and it's not going to protect you from anything. But here it is. Just through there is a tidal pond that raises and lowers with, as you might surmise, the tides. And though this might not look like it, that's an inlet leading out to the ocean in that direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow it and come back out. I just got out of that inlet and am now out in a much more open area. In the past years, this was even more open. So the mangroves are slowly taking over from either side. There's a shoreline over there, and they're kind of encroaching toward the middle. But this was basically a dune ecosystem. It had lots of grasses, buttonwood, sea grape. I mean, you can still see some of it, but it's definitely changed, and within a few more years, this will be completely enclosed by mangroves. Now this is something absolutely terrible. So this is some sort of solution to prepare rusted surfaces for painting. And you can just imagine how horrible those chemicals are. And of course, it's right next to some antifreeze. We've come to Bearcut Preserve's Pocket Beach, which, as the sign says, is closed. You're not allowed here whatsoever. I'm allowed here. The county knows I'm here, and I partner with them to pick up all this trash. And 2 weeks ago, I picked up the entire beach. And unsurprisingly, but quite upsettingly, there's even more trash than there was last time I came here. And if you just go up a little farther, you can see the boaters were nice enough to bag their trash, but leave it here, 10 feet away from a sign that says that there's no trespassing, and even more so, left their whole barbecue. And this happens all the time. I'm heading back into the mangroves, and I'm gonna check one more spot to see how trashy it is, and then the pathological part of my brain that doesn't let me walk by all this trash without getting really upset and wanting to pick it up is gonna take over, and I'm going to clean up some of the worst trash sites that we've seen today. Okay, out of mangroves into a just gorgeous open area. Really, really beautiful. I love this spot. The rain is really coming down now, but just on the other side is where I was. This is the tidal pool or tidal pond that I mentioned earlier. So I was just over there maybe like half an hour ago, and I went all the way around to come back this way. And I'm really standing in it, but there it is. And just as I suspected, this spot is always full of trash. There's some guy who comes out here to hang out and just leaves all of his junk. I cleaned it up maybe 3 or 4 times. Every time we come back, more shit. It's great. This plant right here is poisonwood, and it is toxic. If you touch it, it's like, well, for me, I got really bad rash. It's like poison ivy, only worse. So I'm gonna avoid it and stay away from that. This plant here is called cocoa plum. It's already starting to fruit. It's got 2 different kinds of fruits. It's got a darker fruit and a lighter fruit. This is a lighter one. I prefer the darker one. But it is native to South Florida, and I love it because it's edible, and people actually use it for landscaping, but it's a great tree. Big fan. There's one more place I want to check out before I call it a day. Unfortunately, it's a bit hairy to get there. It's very thick, but it's another area where I've picked up, God knows, probably a couple of tons of trash just from there, because people, or a person at least, kept going back and just leaving all this crap there. But as you can tell, this is getting rather hairy, and yeah, onward. I wish you could have seen how I struggled through that last bit, but unfortunately I couldn't record it because I needed all of my arms and legs to keep myself from face planting. But I'm on the other side and walking toward this last area that I mentioned. Well, as expected, somebody's been here. We've got even more evidence of someone just tossing all their crap here, leaving it. But like I said, not that surprising. I have my compass out because I'm trying to get back to the shoreline using a route I've never actually traveled, and there are no trails out here. It's pure bushwhacking. So here's hoping I can make it. I'm sure I'll make it. But rain's really starting to come down now, and I don't know, I love this. This is great. It's nice and cool. The bugs are not trying to destroy me, so I have no complaints. Christ almighty! Woo! Look at this rain! Love it! I'm making my way through some pretty thick grass. These things have very sharp tips. Ow! I just stabbed myself in the hand. So if you're not careful, you can definitely draw blood. And the mosquitoes are starting to swarm because the rain is letting up. And my goat, let me see. Yes. So sorry, my my Garmin watch thought, I don't know, something catastrophic had happened. Hasn't happened yet. I really need to get some bug spray on me. Love that deep. But yeah, getting close to the shoreline now. That is a yellow-crested night heron flying away. I just got to the shoreline. The rain is coming down very, very hard, which doesn't bother me at all, but the thunder is going pretty strong, as you can hear. So I'm just taking shelter for now until the worst of the thunder passes before heading back in. This little guy doesn't have to worry about shelter because he's got it on his back. This is the fossilized reef I mentioned earlier, now exposed because the tide has gone down, and over there you can see a little mangrove with a whole bunch of cormorants taking shelter underneath it. But we're back at the overlook, and I'm gonna climb up there and head home. I'm hanging out in this little shelter while I wait for the thunder to get everything out of its system. But I hope that you enjoyed this little tour of the mangroves and a couple of other affiliated or associated ecosystems. I certainly love this area, and I'm sure you can understand why I get so upset when people leave their trash everywhere and endanger the wildlife. So yeah, glad you can make it along, and hopefully I won't drown before I get out of here. But if not, I'll see you later.